Good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode of the Grimaldo Group, where we love helping families create wealth through homeownership. And today, with me is the one and only Juan Grimaldo himself. How are you, Juan?
Terrific. Good afternoon, Angel. Good to be here.
It's kind of chilly outside. The weather has changed on us. That's why we are sporting our nice merch. Look at that. Doesn't that look cool? And then, of course, we have underneath the Grimaldo
Superman.
Group t shirts. And so, if you would like to have one of these and would be wanting to wear one of these, we certainly would like to reach out to you and make arrangements so you can get one. Today, what the topic is something that I kind of been thinking, and it's one thing leads to another. And what do I mean by that is a lot of times uh, you have to kind of get out of the box, so to speak. And that's why that term, think outside the box, I think came about. And what do you think about that term when you start thinking outside the box, Juan?
I actually cringe because I don't see a box. I like to think of possibilities and not limitations, and I think that's how I've lived my life so far. Some people felt uncomfortable for that because they're like, "Well, you got to do things a certain way." And if I would have been stuck in a 9 to 5 job doing what I hated, living a terrible life.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, that doesn't mean everybody that does that has a terrible life. It's just for me, it wasn't the thing.
Well, I think there's, many times we can find ourselves in a box. We're stuck. It's kind of like a writers. They oftentimes can find themselves with a mental block or a reader's block, a writer's block, where it's not flowing. Okay.
Exactly.
And then there are those that are in this box and they want to get out because they find themselves stuck. You can't do anything, right? One thing leads to another, either in the direction of where you remain stuck because now you have comfort,
Yeah.
you have the comfort zone, and then you have the fear of the unknown. What's out there? What's out of this box?
Well, I gotta say something about that because a lot of people say that they're comfortable because they just don't want the change, right? Even moving is a pain in the butt. I recently moved and it sucked, right?
Mhm.
Do I like where I'm at now? Heck yeah, it's beautiful and it was uncomfortable. I hated it every second of it. Going through it, just even I'm a realtor and just going through the loan process. We need this, we need that. But the alternative was just say where we were kind of comfortable, but now I'm more comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to ask you this because as you were speaking, you went to school for a reason, right? You wanted to be the
Well,
first time you went to school to college.
well, I was going to be a school teacher,
Okay.
and then I was also interested in law enforcement, right? And then so I kind of pivoted and went to law enforcement. And within law enforcement, I also taught because I was an academy instructor for a period of time during my law enforcement career, and I like teaching. I like obviously interacting with the public as I do on a daily basis, and then that took me to sales, and I think that's where I'm trying to get to. Once you break away from remaining in the box or in the comfort zone, sometimes we want something and we allow the comfort to mingle too much with the fear of the unknown, and these two come together and we get paralyzed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then time goes by and time flies. You ever hear that?
Oh yeah, and it's true. I mean, I see my kids and I tell people because they're complaining about their little kids, roaming around. I say, you know what? I enjoy that. My daughter, my oldest is 20. My next one is 19 and 17. I wish they were little kids, so I could keep playing with them. But it's you gotta take chances. You have to make moves and be uncomfortable. And going to my kids, I remember at one point my kids played soccer throughout their youth. They did a bunch of sports, but soccer was the one that we, kind of enjoyed the most with them, and they enjoyed. So many times we would be at the fields when there was parties and hangouts with our friends, and they'd be like, Juan, your kids, they're gonna grow and this, not nice. Exactly. That's why I want to be with them, and I don't regret a moment of that. It was such an amazing time for us to be there. It was uncomfortable, yet it was the good thing to do, the right thing to do, and I could have done other things, not having spent the time with them and be like, man, my kid's grown. I never spent time with them. So this one thing leads to another. I mean, I never play sports, right? I don't like sports. I don't follow any sports. I think for me, and my father was a huge fan of baseball. He loved it. For me, it was boring. However, I did the uncomfortable to spend time with them. And that led to my kids, being able to enjoy that.
Well, one thing leads to another can, again, create a positive impact or a negative impact.
Exactly.
Okay. And sometimes inaction is something that will bring upon the certain consequences. And later on down the road, then we come out and say, I should have, could have, would have. And going back to me, I went to the Navy first. I served in the military because the first year of college, the first semester, I was kind of floating around. Okay. But there was a desire to do better. You have to start with that desire and work towards developing yourself. As I'm floating in college the first semester, I said to myself, I really don't know what the heck I'm doing here. Mm-hmm. But instead of just taking a break from college and just goofing off, I said, I need to challenge myself and I need to join the military and serve my country and so on while I get the juices flowing. You have to place yourself in an area or in a place where you get the momentum going, the juices flowing.
You have some end in mind. You're not just going and not having a sail, right? Because if you just go through the motions and you say, well, you know what, I don't want to go to school. This is not what I want. I'll just take a break, like you mentioned. But instead you took action and went to Navy. So how was that?
Well, it was great. Was it challenging at first? Yeah. But by the same token, it was very rewarding. So, and then I got the GI Bill. And then I came out of the service and remain in the reserves. Okay. That's 1 week in a month and 2 to 3 weeks out of the year where I get activated. So I'm still serving America. And I get the GI Bill and I go to school. So I go to school full time as I'm working full time.
That's awesome.
And I began to raise a family. So I was tackling several things at the same time. So when people say, I can't do that, it's overwhelming. Well, no one said it was not going to be overwhelming. But if you take advantage of your youth, and I'm speaking to the young America out there, you were meant to do great things during your youth. And I'm not saying don't go and have a vacation and stuff, but there were 4 years of my life after I got out of the military. I didn't watch TV. I didn't go to the movies. Okay. Every so often I went to the beach, and then I had little ones. So I went and worked all day. I got in at 5 a.m. at a delicatessen. Okay. Got out at 1:30. And then I was in class at 3:00 in the afternoon till around 9:30. I think it was 10 o'clock. Then I had to study. I had to do homework. So I was getting an average 4 hours of sleep. Okay. So that's the commitment that I had. And so that began to lead me in the direction of doing greater things. And then it got to the point I had various jobs. Okay. Because if one, all of a sudden the bakery closed or whatever the case may be, you can't just say, what do I do now?
Yep.
You can say that and ask yourself, but you have to start connecting the dots and moving and moving. A body in motion tends to remain in motion. And that's why I believe you have to remain active. So make a long story short, if you are out there contemplating the idea, I want to have a home, and you've been thinking about it, give us a call. I'd love to have the opportunity to sit down and let's do a game plan. Mm-hmm. It's like someone that would like to change their life. They're probably down and out, and they say, I want to go to church, but I got to be perfect before I go to church. Mm-hmm. All right. It's like someone else that's ill, is not feeling well physically, and says, I know I got to go to the hospital. I want to make sure I'm better before I go to the hospital. Okay.
Right.
So if you're contemplating on potentially wanting to own your own home, which I hope you do, this is a grand opportunity to have a conversation with us.
Yep.
Let's
it doesn't
sit
cost
down.
anything.
It doesn't. I mean, we take the time, we sit down.
Yep.
And this is what we do on a daily basis, and we love what we do.
We do consultations just like doctors, and we see where you're at and where you want to be at. And then, like Angel said, we come up with a game plan. So if you're contemplating purchasing, selling, you got to strategize, right? Oftentimes, most people don't get anywhere because they just don't start, right? It's simple. What do they say? A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, and that one step is maybe that phone call where you can get started in doing that. And going back to what you were saying, and one thing leads to another is, in my case, I came to the States. When my father retired, we weren't doing that great, and my father had enough for him and his wife, which is my mom, and I felt like I was taken away from them. I apologize. I was taken away from them because I was, a kind of a burden for them, which they didn't see me as that. They actually didn't want me to leave, but I came to the States when I was 17 years old. I didn't finish high school, so I went and got my GED. I told them I was going to study when I got here. It's not as easy as I thought, 17-year-old, no car, no nothing. I mean, I was living with some friends, and I went and took another job, and like you said, one thing led me to the other, and I struggled a lot, and I always was moving from job to job. But in my case, I was always looking for the better opportunity. So if somebody offered me a better opportunity, I was going to take it. And most of my friends were like, dude, you're crazy. You got to stick with one job because, you got to create some kind of stability. And I'm like, if they're paying me more, I'm moving. Yeah. I'm not going to sit around and just wait and hope that they're going to take care of me some point, because they don't, right? And thank God I was able to go from place to place until I got and found my true love in this world, and which is helping people. I'm going to just share a little bit so that I don't go too deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I bought my first house, I struggled for a year. Nobody wanted to help me because I was job hopping, making little money. My credit was bad. So I was a nightmare for lenders. And when somebody took the time to help me, and he asked me if I wanted to do the same for other people, I said, you know what, where do I sign? Out of a whole year knocking on doors, nobody opening up a door, I know how it feels. And a lot of times I have friends that are in the industry and colleagues, and they stay away from people that don't have their perfect situation. For me, I know what it feels not to be perfect and how to be on the other side of the table. And it became a mission. It's still a mission. And that's kind of like, I was talking to Raul yesterday, one of our team members, and I was saying, this is what we do. This is our community service. Yes. We've been blessed by being in this profession, and we want to give back, and we have to give back. It is our obligation as agents. And for me, I take that to heart. So one thing led to the other, to where now I'm in a place where I'm able to assist those that want to do it, because again, I cannot do things for you.
Yes.
We can show you the path. What do they say? You can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink.
Correct.
So we're here to help. We're here to assist. And that's our mission. Our mission is to make sure that we provide you guys with the resources, so you don't get to the point where you're about to retire and you realize that you're never, ever going to retire because you don't own a home and your rent keeps rising every single year. And now you're so far behind that you can't get there.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
It just breaks.
And sadly, we see it all the time.
Yes. And that's why we like sending out the message. There is hope. And those of you that are in the younger generation, there is even greater hope for you because you have time on your side.
They can create wealth, Angel. Like, if this is life-changing, if you really want to do this, I have a client, and his girlfriend was going to be here with us for an interview, and he is 23 years old. He's on his third home now.
Awesome.
And he's doing Airbnb, and he's renting the rooms, and he's making he's a millionaire already.
Yep.
23-year-old kid.
It can be done.
It can be done, and we can help you. It's simple, right? Not easy, but simple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, if you feel you're in the box that we began to speak about, and Comfort Zone gets together with fear of the unknown, and they start communicating with you and telling you, don't move. You don't know what's out there. What if and this and that. I say break away from that. Seek counsel. When I say seek counsel, seek advice from the right people.
Yep.
Because of, your cousin Vinny from down the road and Joe Schmuckatelli from the other street, who doesn't really do much but stand on the corner street, tells you, don't listen to people that tell you to buy a house or do this or do that.
They just want to make a commission.
Correct. It goes a lot further than that. Okay. So be careful where you get your advice from. And if your friends and family would love to take time, we would love to share more information with you regarding home buying and investing in real estate.
And don't listen to the noise. The news they want your attention, so they're going to make it very dramatic. Yes, our market is cyclical, goes up, goes down, goes sideways. But in reality, we shared the other day a little post about homes back in the 50s for $7,500. They've never come back to that price.
Yeah.
So just know the fact that it is the path to wealth. Ask any millionaire, billionaire where they put their money to where it's safe, and it's real estate. It's not going anywhere. People need a home.
Yeah.
It's just like food, right? So go with the experts, and we love. Obviously we want to be the experts of choice. And but again, go to an expert. Make sure that you guys don't get your information, like Angel said, from your cousin Vinny or someone that doesn't know what they're talking about.
I'm from Jersey, brother.
Right.
This is Joe Schmuckatelli and Yo Vinny. Anyways, thank you for this time that you allowed us to be with you. And again, we're here to serve. And any last words, Juanito?
No, God bless you guys. The holiday season is coming, and we're super grateful for you guys. Have an amazing time. Enjoy, and God bless you all.
God bless you. Have a good one.
Take care.